Hello, I'm Brett Gurney with BrettGurney.com, and today I want to talk to you for a couple of minutes about Facebook ads. I know that it can be a little bit of a daunting task, especially for someone who's a little bit new, as to what advertising resources to use. Of course, there's paid and there's free, and I recommend that a person uses or learns how to use both if they don't know. But even so, it's difficult weeding through all the stuff that's out there and knowing, especially for someone who's a little bit newer, knowing what resources are good to use and what's not, without, wasting a lot of money and a lot of time. Okay, and I want to talk to you about Facebook ads because I have found, and so have very many others, that it's a very good source for advertising. In fact, one of the better sources, if not the best source out there today, once you learn how to use it. And I come at that approach because there's a learning curve, okay? And if somebody, when they're first getting started, at least this leads me to the first screen. And you might notice the first line, it says the way to succeed with Facebook ads is to fail. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but what I mean by that is simply that, your first couple of campaigns may not work out the way that you want them to, because again, there's a learning curve. But if you keep at it and keep tweaking and learning, you will find Facebook ads to be a highly valuable resource for promoting your business or your product or your service or yourself or anything that it is that you're doing. Okay, so the more campaigns that you have that don't work give you new information. In other words, every time you do a campaign, you're going to have more knowledge, you're going to have more history, more data to go on, and you'll be able to fine tune and tweak and perfect what you're doing. So just, don't stop, keep going. You got to think positive, and think of ads that don't convert as research. Okay, you must track your ads. A lot of that is done for you in the Facebook ads dashboard. There are other methods for that as well. You have to be willing to change and tweak your campaigns until you get them right. And I mentioned that. Okay, and that's an ongoing thing always, and it has to do with split testing and retargeting. It's all stuff that we'll go over a little bit. Okay, but the key to your long-term success will be understanding your audience. That's kind of number one. And again, that's something that we will go over a little bit more. Okay, and of course, don't spend money that you don't have. I think that kind of goes without saying, but that's one of the good things about Facebook ads is that it allows you to peck away at it, okay, and to nibble away at it with a little bit of money without spending a whole bunch until you get better. And as you get better, of course, you will scale up to meet whatever it is that you need to do. Okay. I mentioned this audience research. It's very important to know your audience. Okay, their interest, what they do, where they hang out, what and who they like, where they can be found, who they're connected with, and these are all things that will allow you to target your audience so that you have a focused and a targeted campaign, so that you're not sending ads to people who could care less about what it is that you're doing. You will be sending ads to people who have an interest in what you're doing. Okay, and we accomplish that with audience research. Creating good ads and good images is key. You want to make sure that you've got good headers that get someone's attention, good ad copy. You want to pique someone's interest by using the right words, talking about things that that they're already interested in. You want to use clear and sharp images, and you want your ad to be congruent with your message and with what they're going to find when they click through your ad and they get to your website or your video or your lead capture page or your webinar or whatever it is, wherever you're sending them to. It is vital, of course, naturally, that it's congruent with what the ad says. Otherwise, people will get mad. That's not a good situation. And again, this is stuff that we will cover in our training. How to write good ads and what kind of images to use. The same with funnels and landing pages. You know, it's very important to have a plan, to have a blueprint, to or a path to go down, to know what it is that you're doing, to know what you want to accomplish. It's very important to know the rules, the Facebook rules of what you can and cannot do. And we'll talk more about that. And of course, and being compliant goes right along with that as well. So it's very, very important to follow Facebook's rules. You don't want to get in trouble with them. And some of that, that has to do with the landing pages. And of course, you have to have a plan, which includes a sales funnel or an opt-in funnel, depending on what you're doing. Targeting your ads has to do a lot with researching your audience, and filtering down and drilling down into those audiences, and segmenting out the ones that you want to advertise to. The key to cheap clicks and high return on investment, obviously, is having targeted ads going after a special audience. Which you know their interests, their gender, their location, their age, their connections. All those things will lead to a laser focused ad, okay, which is what you want. I mentioned this in the beginning. You will want to track your ads, you will want to read the reports, and you will want to tweak those ads, and do split testing so that you know how to tweak and you know where to tweak those ads as you go, so that every campaign gets better. So you're going to want to run multiple campaigns. Once you see what's working and what's not, you're going to get rid of the bad stuff. Okay, we're going to pitch it. You'll use the reports and learn how to read the reports. You will tweak your landing pages if that's what needs to be. You will tweak your ads or your selected audience, depending on, and reading the reports and doing the split testing is what will tell you that. Okay. Now, the difference between Power Editor versus Ads Manager, I don't know if you've even heard of those things, but it can be a little confusing to a person who's new with Facebook ads. You have two different ones. This is where you put everything together. You construct your ad, you pick your audience, you set up your campaign, and you tell Facebook when it's going to run and how much money you're going to spend and for how many days and all that stuff. But there's a difference between the two. Okay, Ads Manager is part of Facebook. It's on the World Wide Web, and it's part of the Facebook website. In fact, when you're on a website, if you go to Manage Ads, and you'll see it there. Okay, whereas the Power Editor is something that you get on your browser. It's sort of like an app, but it's on the browser. And I'm not real technical with that kind of stuff, so I can't tell you exactly what's going on there, except to know that your Power Editor is where you will do everything until you have it done, and then you will upload it to the Ads Manager. And from that point on, as you're tweaking your ad and editing and making any changes, then you will do that at the Ads Manager. Okay, so it's good to know the difference. There's training on this. We'll talk more about it. And in the Power Editor, this is where you will find how you can set up custom audiences. This is where you will find out how you can save the audiences that you've put together from your targeting and going down through people's interests. And then this, again, this is the area that makes Facebook ads so special, because you are able to go down into the audiences of all the people and then filter depending on so many factors, so that you have an audience that you can send to that are exactly the people that would want to receive your ad, that you would want to send your ad to. Okay, and then after you do that, when you put a pixel on your website so that it's being tracked, the people that land there, then you save those audiences for the next campaign and retarget those audiences. So that's what I mean when I talk about retargeting. So there's, like I said, there's a little bit of learning curve here, but I tell you what, man, when you learn this stuff, it's it's fantastic. It's the best advertising resource that you'll ever find. And that leads me to kind of a conclusion here. I'm simply directing you now to some training that will explain in detail everything that we talked about in detail, step by step, with over our shoulder video tutorials, step by step, the whole process. And if you take this course, you will find that you have everything that you need to run some successful advertising campaigns with Facebook ads. Now you can see the link here. Because it's a video, it's not clickable on the slide, but I will have a clickable link probably just above me or just below me within the video, and also down in the description of the video. You'll be able to click on that. Go check out the page, check out the training, what's available, and you know, get involved. And in addition to that, you will also have myself um, as a personal support if you decide to get involved with my training. Okay, so thanks for watching my video, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Okay, have a great day. Bye.